Good afternoon, fellow listeners. Have we got a feast of information for you today? So my name's Tony Neiman, and we are working together. I'm working together with my favourite colleague. And what's your name?
My name is Lee Horner. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us today.
Brilliant. Excellent. And we are going to be talking all about body image. So this is all about body image, and we're here to educate you, or even just to kind of like get some of your thoughts and some of your opinions about what this is all about. I just want to do a quick hi to St Hilda's. Hi, St Hilda's, Everton Free School. Lee, is there any schools that you want to say hello to?
I think there's several different schools signing on as we're speaking, I think, Tone. I think we've got quite a few across the city. And also I know some schools are going to be watching this a little bit later on because it saves on YouTube, which is great. So they're going to watch it in their own time.
Brilliant. Excellent. I also want to say hello to Holly Lodge and LLA, St Nicholas, West Derby, Allsop. I want to say hello to everybody, whether you're out there or not. But anyway, let's move on. What is it all about? So first and foremost, we want to know how you're all doing. So how are you? I can't hear anything. Oh, that's it, because I'm on air, aren't I? I can't hear anything. But I do know that I can ask Lee how she is doing from 1 to 10 on our little Royal Rainbow, what we always do. Lee, what number are you feeling right now?
I've gone up and down this rainbow several times today, but right now I would say I'm at a solid 6.5, pushing up to a 7 maybe. Yeah, what about you, Tone?
Yeah, do you know what? I am feeling quite enthused today. I've got a bit of a sore throat, so hopefully that I'll go through all the sessions, but I reckon I'm a good little 8. Actually, a cheeky 8, would you believe? So I'm a bit of a cheeky 8. What about all of you guys? What numbers are you feeling? Have a little chat amongst yourselves. Turn around to your neighbours. Tell them what numbers you are. And maybe even think about what will push you up that little bit higher. So, you know, just have a little think about that. But that's great. And what we're going to be doing today? Well, let's talk you through the aims of this workshop. So, Lee, what's going on today then, Lee?
So today we want to talk to you. We know this is out to secondary schools, so there'll be different year groups, different genders sort of coming on this today and in the near future. But we want to talk to you today about body image. And we know that it's maybe, you know, a topic that you've spoke about previously. Maybe you've had sort of different messages around body image. But what we really want to do today is give you a few sort of things that we could do if maybe you are struggling with body image. But also we have done a bit of research across the city recently in terms of the Oxwell survey. So some of you may have taken part in a survey called Oxwell, which we want to do a bit of feedback specifically around body image. And I guess me and Tony love sort of doing these live streams, but one of the biggest things we love is getting some feedback from you. We want to learn from you as young people around actually in 2023. What are the things that cause body image, but also body image issues, but also what could help as well. So we've got a few little interactive things we're going to be doing today to sort of keep it fun, interactive. We're going to be using Slido. And we're also going to be using Jamboard. So I'm hoping that you've got the links to those. And when it comes to it, we'll give you a little bit of a tutorial on how to do it. But ultimately, we've got half an hour. We're going to talk about what actually is body image. We want to hear from you what you think body image means. We're going to really have a think about, from your perspective as young people, what are the things out there that we think could contribute to people not feeling so good about themselves and can contribute to that poor body image. But we also really want to know from you around what are the things that help, because we can come to you and we can tell you all the research, but there's actually no better research than you as young people telling us as professionals what are the things that you think could help. So there's some of the things we're going to be doing today, Tone.
Excellent. Oh, that's brilliant. So we've got our Slido coming up. But Lee, one thing that I think is really important is that we recognize the truth of that person. So as much as we look at body image, we also know that it's really important that we accept people for who we are, when we even accept ourselves for who we are, with all of our little funny little quirky ways and, you know, wobbly teeth and funny little noses. It's fine, isn't it? It's fine. So we're going to be doing a little bit of Slido. What's all slide? Is that about sliding down the road? No, it isn't. These are little quizzes, little things for you to participate in. And this is our first little scene for you to get yourselves involved. So our first question is, what is body image? What do you think body image is? And we've got
some stuff coming through, Tone, as well, I can see.
Brilliant. Excellent.
So I guess if you're out there right now and you've got your phone or an iPad or whatever it is that you're using, all you need to do is scan the QR code or click the link that we sent, and then you'll be able to take part in this Slido. So we can see already on the screen, Tone, we've got body image is about the way you view yourself, around sexualization, and I wonder where in the world that sexualization comes from. Is that others? Is it the media? Is it social media, TV, films? Opinions of others, people's weight, men being judgmental.
Oh, that's an interesting one, isn't it? It's about men being judgmental. And we do a load about stereotypes as well, don't we? We talk about stereotypes. That's really out there as well. Beauty standards, you know, so who tells us that we are beautiful? You know, is it our society? Is it the environment that we're in? Is it our mates? Is it our peers? You know, who says that we're looking beautiful? Who says what sizes are the regular sizes? The standards of our society. That's really interesting, isn't it? Lee, what do you think about that? There's some of these little statements here. Muscles.
Yeah. Muscles. I think what you said there, Tone, around gender stereotypes, I think it's really important to highlight here that quite often body image is seen as a female's issue, things that only maybe women struggle with. But I think we certainly know as youth workers and through conversations with males as well, that actually body image can be something that can affect males as well. And I guess, Tone, I don't know if you maybe want to talk a bit about that from a male's perspective.
Yeah, so it's really interesting because, you know, stereotypes say what we as guys have got to look like. We've got to have big muscles. We've got to be strong, all of those kind of things. And actually it puts a lot of pressure on guys going to the gym all the time. Absolutely. What are the reasons that they're doing all of this stuff? So all of these things, I think that they are very important, that for us to kind of like look at that a little bit further and go, do you know what? It's okay. I'm okay being who I am. I'm all right for you know, my body shape and, you know, and the way that I look. I think that's really important. But we have got a couple of other things in there, things like insecurity. So, you know, if I'm insecure about myself, you know, where's my confidence in myself? You know, I think some of those fundamental things are really important when we're looking at our body, our own body image as well.
Yeah.
I don't know
if you
want
there as well, Tone. I think I know I still see someone typing, so we'll let the next few come through and then we'll move on. But I think a few of the things that have come up there could be quite related to social media, which I know we're going to talk later, because I think if I was to ask all of you out there if you agreed or disagreed that social media was a good thing, we probably have a real mix of responses because of your own experiences using social media. I know for me personally, I've got social media, and I know sometimes there's things that I come across that I know are edited, maybe might not make me feel so good about myself because I don't look that way. And maybe that's what society says a woman should look like or a girl should look like. And I think media can often put a lot of pressure on us, can't it? Love Island's come through. I had a conversation with a colleague about this yesterday around the sort of different body shapes, makeup, hairstyles, skin types, teeth, as Tony mentioned before. This isn't just about women, this is a male's thing as well. And we have recently done consultations with young people across Liverpool to really try and better understand from your perspective, what does body image mean to you? And actually really get some of that feedback so we can learn more about this topic. So as professionals, we can help more as well.
Brilliant. That's a brilliant first question. What is body image? And we've got a whole
Mm.
load of variety of answers that are provoking us, that are thinking, right, okay, what is it about what's going on? Let's see about the second question. Have we got a second question going on here?
Yeah, I think as well when it comes to body image, when we think of definitions, there's loads of different definitions out there, but for us, in their simple form, on the next slide, if that comes up in a second, ultimately, body image is how we think and feel about ourselves physically. So actually, how do I think about myself physically? How do I think about my body? What's my relationship like with my body? But quite often, those thoughts and feelings can be driven by other people. And actually, with what you've just fed back there as young people, there's quite a lot of messaging we're giving here to other people, isn't there? About how kind are we being about other people? Maybe thinking about the things we might say about other people and the way they look, because sometimes those comments can stick, can't they? But ultimately, it's about how we think and feel about our physical selves. And as I say, it's how we believe other people see us, which we're going to talk about a bit later. But ultimately, those thoughts and feelings then impact on the way that we behave and act with our bodies and the things that we do. So a really important topic, actually. And as I say, we know it's come up as an issue from you as young people in terms of something we do need to start talking about a bit more. So that is what body image in a nutshell is. Okay.
Absolutely, absolutely, Lee. I couldn't agree more with you.
Mhm.
And it is all about how we look at ourselves. Somebody put in that other one. It's about how we see ourselves and others. So I think it's really important that we look at ourselves in a really positive way. And certainly when we're looking at ourselves through negative eyesight, then we're kind of like we're pulling ourselves down. So the thinking and feeling about ourselves, we need to be talking positively. And therefore it changes our own belief in ourselves, and also how we think and feel about other people. So I think it is really
Yeah.
important because it does change the way that we believe and the way that we act towards other people as well.
Yeah.
So I think all of that's really key.
And I'm wondering too, and I know we're sort of spending a bit of time on this, but I think it's quite important, isn't it? Because I know when we've done the consultations with young people, a lot of the females were saying around makeup, hair, clothing were like the big things that were sort of driving maybe some of the issues around body image. But for males, it came up in the slido before, it was around body types and feeling the need to be muscly, but particularly a lot around sports and needing to have a certain body type or height or shape to be a basketballer, for example. And a lot of those sort of conversations took place.
Absolutely. And I even when we're talking directly to guys in schools, I can just remember one guy turning around and going, "Oh, but what kind of things have you got that are interesting outside of sports?" So it's really
Yeah.
important to have that mixture of. It's not just all about being physical and having that body shape that's very sporty, but actually it's really important that our minds are active as well.
Mm.
So I think it's the whole person. So body image isn't just about how we're looking. It's also respecting things that are going on within our own minds as well. And Lee, you were talking a little bit about Oxwell, and you said that this was all about what young people were saying, and they
Mhm.
fed that back to the survey. Really, really interesting factors here, weren't there? So we got 41.8% of young people said they were worried about their body shape or weight.
Mm.
Really interesting that is. So, there's a big percentage of people that are really concerned about, how they're looking and their weight. Some of those things are really important. What do you think about that then, Lee?
I think I'm curious within that, and we're going to be doing it in this session, but I'm curious to know where that worry comes from. Why is that? Why is that statistic saying that? And I'm even more curious about, well, what can we then do about it? So, because it is quite a high number, isn't it, when you think about it? 41.8% are saying that this is a worry for them. So I think we need to learn more about that worry and what we can do about it.
Absolutely. And I guess it all goes down to those stereotypes. Who tells us that we've got to be in a certain way and a certain shape? And if we're feeling that, then, and we're not meeting that criteria, 41.8% of young people are worried because they're not fitting in with who says society is saying you've got to be like this. And they're moving down. Half of you have seen yourselves as being bigger than you are, even when other people didn't think so. So again, we're talking about a very large percentage. Over half of young people are fed back and saying, do you know what? I feel as though I'm bigger than I actually am. And I think some of that is really interesting. And it's about getting a true picture of who we really are ourselves.
Absolutely. And I think that last statistic, Tone, around 36% of young people said that they worry about eating interferes with their life. And we know, there could be many different reasons for these statistics. It's not sort of one size fits all. There's very, different reasons for it. And again, I'm really curious about why that worry is. Why is that worry taking place? And I think that middle one for me, the half of young people see themselves as bigger than what they actually are, even when others don't think so. There's something about your internal beliefs there about yourself, your maybe self-worth, self-esteem, how we are compassionate to ourselves internally. There's some work that maybe needs to be done there as a city to get those conversations going about those internal thoughts and feelings about ourselves and how can we improve that? How can we boost that? So again, we're going to look at that today.
Absolutely. And do you know what? A really important factor is, what have we got within ourselves? Is it more important about the external bits about ourselves or the internal? Are we kind? Are we loving? We're going to kind of like explore that a little bit more as well. Absolutely. So I do believe that we've got a little bit of the Jamboard.
We have indeed. This is
really interesting.
We have. So hopefully you have all received the link for Jamboard. And you should be able to see on that Jamboard, there's like a post-it note icon. So it's just below the arrow and you can select a colour. And on that post-it note, we just like you to pop on it. Why do you think that young people struggle with their body image? What do you think the factors are that contribute to this? Pop them on the post-it notes and we'll be able to see them come up on the Jamboard as well. So we're just going to give you maybe just a couple of minutes to have a chat about that as well, because we know that some of these things are really important to discuss maybe with the person next to you, and then pop them on the Jamboard for us to be able to see and look at that feedback. Okay.
Excellent. And we can discuss all of your little pointers. You could get my perspective. You could get Lee's perspective. You can get each other's perspective. Just have a little look at some of the things that are coming up. And we've got a number of things that have already been put on here. So that's brilliant. Thank you for participating in this. We've got a sticky note up there. But we'll read them out one at a time. Do you know what? I might even have to put my glasses on to see all of this. I can't see anything. But yeah, so they're coming up all the time. So we've got a couple of pinkies. We've got a couple of yellowies, or a few more yellowies. And let's see what we can see on this. Give you a couple more minutes just to explain stuff, or just to put your own thoughts down there, and then we can just read them out. Because your opinion is really, really important. It does. We're all about listening to the voices of young people, aren't we? And you are young people, so your opinions, your thoughts, your perspectives are really, really important to us, and we just want to make sure that they're being heard. and we're taking them into consideration when we're talking.
There's quite a few coming through here, Tone, as well, and we've got some to do, it seems, with family, society, friends, comments
made by others, being forced to eat it, not hungry, by family as well. So it's about
really interesting
understanding that one. Unfair standards in society. So we talked a little bit about stereotypes. What does our society say? There's pressures that are coming on us all the time. Bullying style, being told how to dress, we're being told what to do. This is how we've got to act. This is what we've got to wear. Anything else jump out at you there, Lee?
I think it's taken me back to the consultations we've had with young people as well. Just as a starter around family and friends. So particularly it keeps coming up quite strong around jokes about weight. So whether it's like a bit of banter between friends, but actually, is that banter okay? And how does that feel for that young person on the receiving end of that banter? And a really interesting one, which I never thought of before, was about parents. Where was it on here about finishing your food?
Yeah.
There was something about being forced to finish your food. Yeah,
being forced to eat. Yeah.
Yeah, that stands out to me because I've never thought of that before.
Lee, what about this one? Men being cruel to impress their mates. Girls being mean to other girls. So it's kind of like, we've got all of that that's going on. We do a little program and it's all about, being an active bystander. When you're seeing stuff like that, are you going to pull them up and go, look, that's not right, that's not fair. We should be making a point and actually, saying some deeper things of, it's not about the outwards appearance and actually that you shouldn't be saying that. How do you think they feel about all of this?
Yeah.
And then we got calling people names over media. So, as you so rightly said, media does have a part to play in it. And again, what are we going to do when people are being called names over media? And some of those can be really oppressive names as well.
And I think media, again, that seems to be another thing that's coming up, doesn't it? There's plenty of things out there that maybe do promote positive body messages. However, I think what's coming through a lot is around the pressures that society and the pressures that media can put on us as young people. So even things like on social media, for example, if you've got the likes of Snapchat and the filters on Snapchat, while some of them are really, really funny, some of them really do blur your freckles. I know when I've used it, it's blurred my freckles, it's got rid of spots, it's made my eyes brighter and bigger. But actually, is that realistic for me? That's not realistic, is it? And I guess it's that reflection on, well, how does that make me feel when I look at that Snapchat? But then I don't look at myself in the mirror, and what impact does that have on me? So that unrealistic expectations, I think, is really important to pick up on, Tone.
Oh, absolutely. And do you know what? I think it's really about accepting yourself for who you are. So, I'm not gonna turn around and change me because that's what society says. And they are some of the pressures that are going on here. We've got to feel like we're accepted. So society says this is what men do. This is what they've got to look like. This is what girls have got to look like. This is what boys are saying girls should be looking like. So what do we do? A lot of us in society, we're pulling ourselves into, being the people that you think others want you to be. And actually, I think it's about having the confidence to say, I am who I am. And, it's about accepting it yourself. People judging you. Yeah, go on. Sorry.
I'm getting all quite passionate about this now.
You are, aren't you? Go for it, Lee.
I'm getting passionate about this now because I think if there are young people out there now who actually are struggling with poor body image, that accepting yourself can feel like a really hard place, can't it, to start? Because actually right now I don't accept myself and I'm not maybe in the best place to do a body image. And I guess within that, it's about sort of noticing maybe what are the good things about me at the moment, what am I grateful for? It doesn't have to be massive, but what are the things that I am thankful for my body at the moment? But also thinking about people around you and what language are we using around people, whether it might be banter, how are we talking about our own bodies in front of people? Are we talking about them in a derogatory way? Are we talking about them in a respectful way? And there's a quote that Tony and I love, and it's the standard you walk past is the standard you accept. So are you in your friendship groups creating the standard where you're thinking respectfully about our bodies and feeling respectfully? Or maybe is the conversation quite negative towards body image? And maybe reflect a bit on that.
Brilliant, excellent. Well, look, we're running out of time, and I know that we are really hard pushed, so we are going to have to move on. You're going to have to get off your soapbox, Lee.
Sorry.
And we are going to move on, because what do you think causes poor body image? So what do you think? We've already addressed some of this with media and advertising. So we've looked at all of the media, what they're saying. Sometimes even some of that media, I can remember, looking at some of the representations of women. Is it all true, Lee? Would you say it's all true, the way that people are put across on the media?
No, not always. No, absolutely not.
So they do a lot of rubbing out and stenciling in and the paint brushing and all of that kind of stuff. I've seen it on Instagram and putting extra makeup on. And actually, people are beautiful the way that they are, and I think that's really important. And we've also been talking about our peers as well, haven't we? We've been talking about some of those pressures coming from other people around us, what that acceptance is all about, how we should be looking. And actually, as peers, as our mates, we should be saying to each other, do you know what? You're brilliant the way that you are. And I think we're going to go into that right at the end. What about society? Have you got anything to say on any of these things, Lee?
Yeah, I think when we've researched into this, it tends to, when we think about the things that can cause poor body image, it tends to fall under one of these 5 categories, which is why we wanted to show them to you today. So it could be to do with society. And within that society, it could be around those gender stereotypes that are really sort of drilled into us from when we're babies, actually, that girls wear pink, boys wear blue, girls should be this way, boys should be this way. Family, we've seen a lot of your comments coming through before around the impact of things that could be happening in the family environment that maybe parents and carers and siblings don't realise are a thing, but actually, being forced to finish your food, comments about your body could actually be quite hurtful, couldn't it? And then there's other categories, things that could fall into that. So what we wanted to talk about, because I'm conscious we've got a couple of minutes left and we really want to get to a point of, well, what can we do about this? What Oxwell has also said in terms of what you across Liverpool have told us as young people is that just over half of you have said that you eat 3 meals a day. Many of you have said you wanted to exercise more, and that many of you spend 3 or more hours a day on social media. Now, the first thing we'd like to say is that in terms of resilience and the basic things that we need in life, a healthy diet and fresh air and exercise are really, really important. Yeah, connecting with others online healthfully is actually important too. But it's about what's the driving factor behind this. In terms of eating 3 meals a day, that's sort of something that's been drilled into us, hasn't it? Sort of since we were little, about breakfast, lunch and dinner. It's about what's the motivating factor behind exercising. What's the motivating factor behind those 3 meals a day? Is it okay if we didn't exercise one day? Is it okay if we didn't have those 3 meals a day? And maybe we had a day where we sort of picked and snacked, because I know I can hold my hands up. I don't routinely eat 3 meals a day every day. But it's all about the motivating factor behind that. And then finally, when it comes to social media, I guess it's really reflecting on how healthy is your online social media life. Because we know we live in a society now where actually the online world is very much part of your world. We're not getting away from the fact that so many young people use social media. We understand that. But what we'd really like to think about is when you're going on your apps and when you're going on your Snapchats, your TikToks, whatever it is you go on, how do you feel after you've gone on those apps about yourself? Do you feel better about yourself? Or do you actually feel worse about yourself? Because what that could tell us is maybe the content that you're following isn't too good for how you feel, how your mental health is, how you feel about yourself. And I've done it previously, and actually quite regularly. I will go through my social media, and afterwards I'll reflect maybe on how I'm feeling after spending that 20 minutes scrolling, which we all do. How am I feeling? And if I'm feeling worse, why is that? And I will quite often unfollow people that I think can make me feel a bit worse about myself. Maybe a lot of their content is edited. Maybe they're doing, they're on holidays here, there, everywhere that I don't feel like I'm going on. So maybe that makes me feel a bit worse about myself. So maybe just have that reflection on social media, because 3 hours or more a day is a lot of time that we spend online. So it's really important we reflect on how healthily we're spending that time as well. Okay. What's next, Tone?
Have we got another Jamboard? Have we got time for this one?
I think so, because this is more like a final activity. We'll just do it for a minute. If that's okay. Do you think, Tone? Around what helps?
Absolutely. So it's kind of like all about what are the things that are going to help us think about our family and friends, school. What are the things that we would find really useful around our family and friends? So some of the things that were kind of like negative is forcing you to eat food even if you're not hungry from your family and friends. We read that out a little bit earlier. What could be helpful in school? You're hanging around school. Are there any rules that maybe could be helpful if they were changed? And then things about what Lee was talking about, just stuff online. Is there some helpful stuff that you can kind of like pull out there? So she was just like saying, actually, there are some people that actually they do change my mood. It makes me feel a little bit really helpful. Even if it was to limit yourself, to the amount of time that we spend on our phones or online talking to other people. Is it better to kind of like actually physically go and see people face to face, go and shake their hands? I know, and that I'm a bit of an old timer as far as phones are concerned. So I miles prefer having direct conversation with them, not talking online, but just having that direct conversation, having that direct communication with people. Lee, I don't know if there's anything that you wanted to add on that.
Well, I think this is maybe when you're watching this and as you're going through this, spend a good 5 minutes discussing this. And please do feed it back to us as well, because some of the things that we've got previously are around sort of mindfulness and journaling. So young people have told us that if they are struggling, they find writing things down, reasons why they're thankful for their body, things that they like about themselves, maybe that aren't image related. So maybe I'm kind, I'm funny, I support my friends and they really appreciate it. So really thinking about those inner skills and qualities and attributes. They've also said in terms of school around dealing with bullying internally. So things like, really having those open conversations with people around those comments that might be seen as low level, but actually if they're about weight and appearance, then that could have a really big impact on other people. And then things about family. I know one of the young people we met with, that came through in terms of family members always making comments about weight. And actually that wasn't okay to them. So more awareness for families as well, around the language we use around our bodies, modeling positive self-talk around our bodies in front of our children, things like that. So please do let us know what you think and feedback to us, because we really want to sort of make sure that when we're promoting these messages that they're coming from you as young people, because that's who we're here to serve and to work with. But just a few key messages there from young people, Tone.
Brilliant, excellent. Thank you very much. These are some of the ideas, wasn't it? Positive affirmations. Is that what you've just been saying here? All of these things. I haven't kept up to date with the slides, have I? But anyway, yeah. So thank you very much for that, Lee. I think we're just going to finish with just one last little activity, as we say, tally ho. And we want to give you this little challenge. So the challenge is, compliment activity. Turn to the person next to you and give them a compliment. Let's have a little look at some of the things that you might be able to say to them. So if that was me and Lee, I'll turn to Lee and I say, Lee, I like how you always give me loads of compliments and give me that special little hug when I'm feeling a bit down in the dumplings. All right, you've got to say the next one. What's the next one then?
I will do. I will. And actually, some of you might find this a little bit awkward. Sometimes compliments can be really hard to receive, can't they? So try and keep it away from looks, because that's often what we compliment about. But it's okay to give compliments about looks if the other person's okay with it. But Tony, you make me happy when you say down in the dumplings. There's something about that phrase that makes me laugh, and I don't know why. You're a great colleague to work with. You're really supportive. So thank you for always being there. And I like how you do your raps and your magic tricks. And I'm sure people out there will have seen them at some point.
Excellent. Oh, thank you. You've just done all of them. I can't believe it.
Well,
Thank you for being a really special person. Thank you for your compliments. Thank you for that big smile that you've always got there and being positive. You are absolutely fantastic. Do you know what? And I'm going to tell you guys a little secret. They call her Lovely Lee, and that is for a reason. Because she's lovely. Lovely, Lee. Excellent. Well, look, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of our time now. So we're going to have to say tally-ho to you. Thank you for coming on our show, the Lee and Tony Show. No, it's not really the Lee and Tony Show. This is all about empower you to be empowered and take control of yourself. Have confidence in yourself. And, that's what this is all about. Lee, what number are you feeling right now?
I'm going to go for a 7.5. What about you?
I am definitely an 8.5, moving up to the 9s. And we hope that you guys are doing good as well. So just turn to the person next to you, tell them what number you're feeling. And, I want you to have a really, really good day. Give out as many compliments as you possibly can, even when you get home. Fantastic time. This has been brilliant. My name's Tony, and your name is
Lee. Thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. Bye.
Brilliant. See you next time.